The auto industry continues to make drastic changes to keep operations rolling after being shut down by COVID last year. Auto expert Kelsey Mays of Cars.com is stopping by with the latest. Kelsey, good to see you.
You know, Angie, we believe really there's three kind of key trends that we've seen coming out of this pandemic. You know, there's a real growing importance of car ownership. There's a rise in online buying. And finally, there's a continuing affordability challenge. People value freedom and safety that cars provide more than ever before, especially with concerns around public transit and ride sharing. You know, when we surveyed consumers in 2020, about 1 in 5 who didn't previously own a car said they were going to buy one. You know, second, dealers have really gone virtual. Home delivery has hit automotive in a big way. Currently, there's more than 2 million cars on Cars.com, which is about 60% of vehicles on our entire platform that can be delivered to your driveway from a local dealership. But then finally, you get into affordability. And this continues to be a challenge that has kind of run independent of the pandemic and has, accelerated a little bit due to it. About 45% of new car shoppers say they're interested in vehicles over $30,000, while nearly 40%, though, of used car buyers are looking at cars under $10,000. So definitely some budgetary constraints there on the part of the consumer.
How is it going with car dealers and consumers going virtual? Back in the day, the old adage was you had to kick the tires before you purchased a car.
Yeah, and of course you can still do that. The online process has not completely replaced, the physical in-person process, but it's replaced a lot of parts of it. Shoppers have now realized they can buy a car from their local dealer almost entirely online and even have it delivered to their driveway the same day. There's no going back to the dealership necessarily and having to spend, 4 hours sitting there negotiating and signing paperwork and all that. If there's any silver lining to this pandemic for car shoppers, it's that it's really accelerated a process into online shopping that we think shoppers have really wanted for a bunch of years anyway. Car buyers aren't just researching their cars online. They're negotiating, financing. They're virtually kicking the tires on those video test drives, and they're meeting with salespeople for video walkarounds. These are all things that have launched relatively recently on our platform, and we're seeing a lot of engagement on the part of the consumer.
What should consumers expect with prices? Will there be sticker shock? GM, as you know, recently revealed the average price set a record in the fourth quarter of $41,000.
Here's the reason behind the reason cars are so expensive. We are seeing higher and higher transaction prices year in and year out. And so much of that is because of the change in the type of vehicle people own. 10, 20 years ago, the average car people owned was a sedan. It was a car. Now it's an SUV. And, the average cost of a car has actually not increased as much as people might think. You go back 10 years and the starting price of like a Honda CR-V was actually more expensive 10 years ago than it is today once you adjust for inflation. But those SUVs are outselling cars. If you take away, minivans and pickup trucks in new vehicle sales, SUVs are outselling cars by about 2 to 1, and they're getting more and more expensive. The average price of an SUV, a new SUV on Cars.com, is about $7,500 more than the average price of a car. So there's some sticker shock when people are going in and trading in their old cars and trying to get into an SUV because that's what's hot right now.
Are there some new tools available for car shoppers?
Yeah, new tools and technologies. We have a vehicle valuation tool that just launched on Cars.com that really helps, kind of calculate the full value of your trade-in to understand the out-the-door cost of your purchase. We've got about half of all dealers on Cars.com now offering that home delivery feature. So there's a lot of tools to check out there. Everybody can find it on Cars.com. And if you want to read reviews and any of these other developments, you can go to Cars.com/news.
Thank you, Kelsey. We always appreciate your commentary.
All right. Thanks, Angie.
For more Business First AM, check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.